What's happening out there, everybody? This is Hayden Adams with A Designer Who Codes. In this video, we're taking a look at search engine optimization for 2025 from Google. Now, a little disclaimer moving forward in this video. All the information came from Google itself. I don't trust any other third-party website to give me information about Google except from Google. Also, the information was last updated on 10/31/2024. Now, if you want a basic overview of what Google's looking for, I broke it down into 3 parts. 1, structure your content. Make sure your site is well laid out and information is clearly presented to the audience from start to finish. 2nd, good content, I always say, still wins. It's a phrase I've used for a long time, good content wins, because you're thinking about the end user. Don't think about keywords. Think about how someone would read and use your website. And good content versus keyworded kind of sketchy content is always more important to use in your site, and Google will reward you for that. Thirdly, forget about keywords. Kind of. We'll go into this a little bit more in the video, but don't write for keywords. Go back to the second part. Good content still wins. And now let's talk more in detail about SEO for 2025. All right, so I am on the Search Engine Optimization Starter Guide from Google. You can find this at developers.google.com, and I'll also put a link in the description below. If I scroll down this page, the most important piece we're looking for in 2025 is structured and or descriptive URLs. Now, this does not mean that you want to put keywords in here. It's a little bit of a different tactic, but follow me here in this design. Their example they have is example.com/petsandcats.html. Have an example right here where I built a travel guide page. So the website I have is Superior Travel Guides or experttravelguides.com. On this travel guide location page, I have London, England. In theory, I would have more locations within England on this page. So using the URLs, what I would do is I would have experttravelguides.com be my domain name. I would have the folder of England, lowercase for URL, and then within England, I would say London. Now, of course, I could also have Wales or somewhere else. Actually, Wales is not a city. I take that back. I would have another city in London. Oh my gosh, I'd have another city in England in here. Wow. I'm sorry to all the Brits that is watching this video. My apologies in advance. So I would have some place like Oxford. Here we go. Oxford, England, next to London, England in this design, because it would then say a different city within England. Wow, my apologies. I almost got that way wrong. Again, I'm sorry to all the Brits watching this video. Coming back to the guide, I really like this phrase, make your site interesting and useful. Again, this is my phrase, good content wins. I especially like this paragraph right here. The content is helpful, reliable, and people first. People first, or again, good content wins. Be sure that you're writing content that your readers will find helpful and reliable. For example, providing expert or experienced sources that can help people understand your article's expertise. This will go a long way into ranking higher and higher on Google because people will utilize your content and not just click back to the Google search results. Coming on down a little further, again, we have our structure of our site, example.com, bird yellow, example.com, bird red, and then we have bird care. Speaking of these links right here, it's always important to write good link text. Now, what does good link text mean? Well, if we come back to our example right here on our travel guide locations, I have London, England as one of the locations for travel guides. If I have this little link right here, book our London guides, it then tells the user and Google what's going to happen when I click on this guide. Now, if you are watching and you have experttravelguides.com, I am not going to click on your website. But what this link does do is if I were just to say learn more right here, and I just type this in, this doesn't tell Google or your end user, for example, again, people first, where this is going and what this is doing. I want to tell someone what's going to happen when they click on this button. Now I could have a second button and say, for example, this isn't a paragraph, but if I do this, I could say book our London guides, and then I could say, let's put a paragraph in here, and we'd say learn more about London in here. And I would say England, London, maybe learn more. And now what would happen is this would be learn more about London or learn more about our guides. And I could say learn more about the guides. And in here, I could say England, London, and then go one step further and say guides. These links now tell me and the end user and then Google where I'm going to go and what is going to be on the following pages. This helps Google and your end user navigate your site, and Google essentially says, please tell us where you're going when you are going to go somewhere on your site. Back on the SEO Starter Guide, I want to focus on this phrase, influence your title links. Now, the title links come from the title element within your web page. We come back to our example right here, travel guide locations. I've updated my page to be a little more SEO friendly than it was before. Inside the HTML, the title now reads guide locations within England, and then I have expert travel guides as the name of the website. This will tell me, hey, if I'm looking for a guide within England, I have a list right here. So on Google, they would show not how to make your own chili oil, but coming back, it would say guide locations within England. Inside of here, we of course can book our London guides. And on that page, it would say guides within London, England. So it helps the user navigate your website and create links within Google. Continuing on down the page, we then get into snippets. Now, snippets are another word for meta descriptions. As it says down below, a good meta description is short, unique to one particular page, and includes the most relevant points of the page. We come back again to our travel guide locations. I would write the meta description inside the meta name within your HTML. Experience cities from experienced local guides. Book a guide in one of our cities and get a deeper knowledge of the city. Because I don't have a specific area yet here, this page is describing where I can book my guides. In this case, I could even go further and I could say experience cities from experienced local guides. I could always say experience cities in England from experienced local guides. Again, not Wales. We have made that mistake once before. Not going to make it a third time, or I guess a second time. So I could say experience cities in England because this would catch people looking for guides within England. Again, not saying England 35 times. I don't want to say really do book your England guide that can show you around England because England is amazing. If you notice now how many times I've said England, and again, the phrase really doesn't need to be there, especially in nothing against England. It's probably amazing because it is, but this doesn't need to be said because I'm really stuffing the word England, England, England all the way through this design. So I would really take this phrase out. I have England once. It tells me where it is. Experience cities in England from experienced local guides. Book a guide in one of our cities and get a deeper knowledge of the city. The word England shows up enough, but not too many times where I'm stuffing the word England here. And of course, we would then say London on the page, but not inside this area unless you only had a few locations to focus on. Next on the guide are images, and more importantly, you want to optimize them. One, you want to optimize the image near relevant text, and two, you want to make sure that you add a descriptive alt information to the picture. We come back to our example. We have our little picture of Big Ben, which obviously explains London, But what I have here down below is I've got images, London calling, but in the alt information, I describe what the picture is. The alt here is the view from the Thames in London looking at Big Ben. This also card holds information about London. So I have a picture about London. The description is accurate, not too keywordy. That's not what we're going for, but it describes that I'm shooting the picture from the River Thames in London looking at Big Ben, and the information around the picture is focused on London, England, and our link focuses on London guides. Again, I'm not trying to stuff the keywords. I'm trying to explain what the picture is, what the description is, and the picture goes with the image. The picture goes with the image. The picture goes with the text of London, England, and the user then can go, oh, this is a picture of London. It says it right here, and I can book the London guides right here as well. Make it really easy for your user to understand what the picture is, and the alt behind the scenes explains more in detail as well. All right, so what is Google not focusing on? Well, one, meta keywords are still dead. Google search doesn't use the keywords meta tag. They haven't for about 12 years, and they're still not going to update that policy. It's gone. See you later, out the door, goodbye. Another piece to be watchful are is if you're trying to focus on a particular word or phrase, don't overdo it. Just make sure you use it enough times to get the point across, but don't keep saying, for example, I had before, London, London, London all the time. The person reading it is going to understand it, but if you write too much for the algorithm, it's going to penalize you for doing it too often. Also to be aware, PageRank, and this is more, I really want to emphasize on this part. While PageRank uses links and is one of the fundamental algorithms at Google, there's much more to Google search than just links. This is really, really, really important to be aware of, as Google's not paying attention as often to who is linking to you. PageRank, if we come over here, was a way of linking through different systems from page to website, and small little fun factor, PageRank was named after Larry Page, which is why it's PageRank in this little section. So worry less about how other sites are linking to you. Again, the phrase good content wins still sits primarily here. If you're worried about people linking to you, it's not going to improve or not improve your search ranking. Also, really interesting to note this as well, because in my last video from last year, Google did want all of your tags in order. Now they're saying, again, if we go up the top here, don't focus on this. This is brand new, and I'm very almost shocked at this. But having your headings in semantic order is fantastic for screen readers, but from a Google search perspective, it doesn't matter. So if it's not super flawless in terms of your H1s, H2s, and H3s, that's okay. That being said, you still want to have them in order for screen readers to read, because it's important to go down the page in terms of a heading of an H1 to a subheading of an H2. Don't get lazy, but this does not impact your search as it did before. Really interesting to note this, because again, it sometimes happens where you put the H3 in where an H4 should go and vice versa with H2. It can happen. Don't worry so much. This will not matter in terms of search rankings if you're not flawless when it comes to the structure of your page. After that, you should be all set for 2025 for SEO going forward.